Today's episode is brought to you by Trucking Hub. Now listen, if you're still bouncing between 5 different logins just to run your trucking business, you're already behind. Trucking Hub is built by a carrier for carriers, and it puts everything under one roof, whether it be dispatch, safety, maintenance, and even accountant and a driver app. Their dispatch runs on PC Miler and Copilot navigation, so the miles are right the first time. Now the ELD is FMCSA certified, tamper-proof, and trusted since 2017. And if you want to keep it all in one lane, you can even roll in company phones, texting, video, and fax backed by nationwide LTE. Bottom line, this is the kind of system that's you spend less time hopping and more time hauling. Plans start at just $29 per truck, no contracts, no hidden fees, and you can try it for free for 30 days. Check them out at their website and get your time back. Welcome to The Long Haul, the podcast dedicated to empowering small carriers and owner-operators to drive their business forward. I'm your host, Adam Wingfield, bringing you insights from industry leaders, real-world success stories, and strategies to help you navigate the road to profitability. Whether you're just getting started or looking to take your fleet to the next level, this is a show where trucking meets opportunity. So buckle up, it's time to go the distance. Welcome back to The Long Haul, where we get into what actually moves the wheels in trucking, from freight to finance and everything in between. Today's episode is about the one thing that touches every single mile every day, and yet it's one of the most ignored margin killers in your business: tires. We're sitting down today with a commercial tire expert who has years of experience helping fleets make the right decisions and avoid the silent profit leaks hidden in plain sight. We're talking about tire myths, real world advice on buying smarter, and how poor tire choices are draining fuel margins from fleets that can't afford the waste. If you're still buying tires the same way you did 10 years ago, this episode will change your approach. But before we jump in, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the podcast, and head over to FreightWaves.com/playbook to sign up for our free newsletter, where we break down the freight industry for small carriers just like you, without any of the fluff. I'm pleased to have a good friend of mine and phenomenal entrepreneur on this particular episode today. Big shout out to Kamard Johnson. Welcome to the show today.
I appreciate you for having me.
Glad to have you.
It's an honor and a privilege. Yes, sir.
Glad to have you. All the way from Richmond, Virginia.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about those humble beginnings, man. You know, before we get into all of the other stuff, take me back, man. Rewind me back.
Before I even do that, again, honor and a privilege to be sitting here with you, man. The opportunity to come on to this podcast. The only way to do it service and justice was to come in person. So yeah, direct off the flight, here we are. Humble beginnings. Born to a single parent mother, rather. 2 children, my brother and myself. 12-year difference, right? Okay. So if you can imagine that, obviously we didn't necessarily grow up together, right? Sure. No 20-year-old young man is interested in hanging out with their 8-year-old kid brother.
That's right.
And so she did her best to instill family as our core tenet, even with that distance in age. And so in the shadows,, my brother was very supportive of me, very protective of me, really like a father who I never met. He has met our father. I never met him. And so it's funny talking to you about it now, because it's probably some things I'll say for the first time, which is he is by far the most selfless individual that I've met in my life. And to give context and credence to that, we're talking about an individual who, again, grew up in not the greatest environment. You know, you learn in trial by fire, and to be in an environment that, in a sense, molded and molds many to be hardened. To see his evolution and transformation over the years, man, and you know, he's not soft by any means, but he's softer than what he used to be. Sure. I'm just so proud of the work that he has done internally, because therein lies, to me, the challenge that every human being faces, but many human beings falter to, which is that inner engineering that has to be done for you to change the identity that you have to go to the one that you aspire to have, right? And so, yeah, coming up, Didn't get in a lot of trouble. Like I said, I had this big brother that
Yeah.
was like
Kept you in line.
yeah, and a
Mhm.
mother who also was very,
Kept you
very
in line.
adamant about it. And so I made good grades. You know, it was like I lived two lives though, right? I lived in the hood, but I
Mhm.
went to school in the uh, better schools,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
And so as a result of that, I saw two worlds very early. I saw a world where things were very dismal and a lot of violence and
Mhm.
just stagnant, right? No progress really. And then I saw a world where it was nothing but abundance and opportunity and a different energy, right? One where a lot of people were very inviting to assisting and helping and pulling you up.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I would live in one environment, but I would go to school in another environment.
Right.
And that for me, I would say is the first thing that was a big aha moment as
Mhm.
I've looked back on my life where I see things changing for me. And that was all because of my mother. I didn't live in that district to go to those schools, but
You
fortunately I
got
had the
there.
grades and then
Mhm.
I had a mother who was a champion for that. And so she put in petitions for me and I was able to get an exception. And then, from there, again, that exposure. The second one for me was right out of high school. I graduate, no college degree, and I'm selling at H.H. Gregg. Yeah,
Appliance
yeah,
sales.
yeah. Appliances,
Okay.
electronics.
Okay.
Gentleman comes in dressed to the nines, usually like you look, suited up, and I sell him a dishwasher. That's what he came in for. It was he and his wife's anniversary. Me being me, I end up selling him a washing machine. I
You
sold
got
him a
the whole suite.
refrigerator, big 65-inch TV, and he
Mhm.
says to me, "Dude, I didn't come in here for anything but a dishwasher. But everything that you said just made sense, and so I did it. No disrespect to what you're doing, but I think there's greener pastures for you."
Mm.
And I'm young again. I'm growing up in a certain environment. That's not a term I'm familiar with. So I'm like, what do you mean? Because
Mhm.
I've never been afraid of asking the question to get understanding. I don't feel like that makes me inadequate. I don't make
Absolutely.
it like, and that's something that I would encourage any and everybody. Ask the question if you don't have that understanding, because otherwise you leave that conversation with that person assuming that you knew what they discussed.
That's
And then
right.
if something ensues from it and you can't capitalize
That's
on it,
right.
that's on you.
That's right.
And so back to the story. Um, I'm like, what does that mean? And he's like, man, you got a gift, man. Like, I
Mhm.
promise you I didn't come in here for any of this stuff.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, yeah, appreciate it. He's like, I'm gonna give your name to my recruiter. And I'm like, yeah, but what is it that you do? And he was so secretive about it. And I'm
Mhm.
like, all right, cool. People would say that to me, Adam, a lot, but I
Yeah.
never really put too much stock into it. Nonetheless, I get a call, fast forward the story from the recruiter. Um, they end up being a investment company, right? Again, no college degree. And so she calls me and we weren't on the same page. She's thinking that he gave my information to her for me to be a intern. I didn't know much about internships, but from what I knew at the time, I'm like, interns don't make any money. I need
Yeah.
to make some money. I gotta help mom out. I gotta get
Right.
some income
Right.
coming into this
Right.
house. I was like, oh, I apologize for wasting your time, but there must have been some miscommunication. And she's like, so you're under the impression that you were going to be like a full-time financial representative here? I was like, candidly, I didn't know what this was, but
Right.
yeah, I thought it'd be employment, not internship. And so she's like, "You think you can do this?" And I was like, "Exactly what is it that you guys do?"
Mhm.
Again, questions. And so she gave me the rundown. I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Who do you know that would be interested in investments?" I was like, "I'll find them."
Right. Right. That ambition.
So they put me through the series. Seriously, Adam, it was 7 interviews. I'll never forget it.
Mm.
At one point along the line of the interviews, I didn't even think that this was really a financial company. I'm like, this must be like a secret co-op, like CIA operation or
Mm.
something. Who interviews somebody 7
That's
times,
right.
Adam?
That's right. That's right.
Thoroughness.
Mhm.
Now, looking back on it. So I meet with all these different people within the company, and then the last interview ended up being with the managing partner. Only was supposed to be a 30-minute meeting. Um, we're about an hour and a half into it.
Mm.
So I knew it was going well.
Mm.
It's a Friday. He offers me the job, and I tell him, yeah, I need the weekend to think about it. He looks at me, baffled, mouth on the floor. What do
Mm.
you mean? I'm giving you this opportunity. No college degree.
Sure.
You've blown these people away in the organization. They're speaking highly of you, and you telling me you need to think about this. And I said, yes, sir. I have a few other opportunities. I got to qualify what I think is best for me. I had an
Absolutely.
opportunity to move to Schaumburg, Illinois, to go and be a manager at H.S. Gregg. And then there was another financial institution that I was looking at. More of the story, I ended up taking the position with them. That was the second aha for me, right? Expanding my perspective of what's possible, right? Really kind of taking the lid off of the belief box for me. And I worked there. I achieved, as far as I know, I'm still the youngest in company history to hit their internal milestones. And so, yeah, um, after that, uh, sold cars. I mean, I've sold just about anything
Yeah.
that you can think of, mulch, real estate.
Mulch. You
Yeah,
sold mulch.
yeah, man.
You did it all. You was a hustler.
Yeah, man. And this is all before knowing truly that two things. One, relatively speaking, I'm pretty decent in sales. And two, sales was such a career path that could be so rewarding and
Sure.
lucrative.
Sure.
Never seen it that way.
How in the world did you go from selling mulch, dishwashers, and cars
Yeah.
to being one of the most and I'll say what it is, one of the most successful startups when it comes down to commercial truck tires. And for
Yeah.
those, and you know what, I'm gonna give a little bit for those that don't know, you hit Inc. 5000
Yes, sir.
not one time, not two times, not three times, but four times on Inc. 5000. That
Yeah.
is an outstanding accomplishment that's usually secured for a small group of successful entrepreneurial ventures. You did it four times, man, and you went from selling dishwashers and mulch and you know, again, opportunity always sometimes leads you into pastures that wouldn't be there. But your beginning, you didn't even get a college degree.
No, sir.
How in the world did you get into tires?
Yeah. It goes right back to the origin story. My mother and my brother. So it's twofold. My brother started the commercial tire company with 7 used tires in the shed of his backyard. July 21st.
Selling used tires.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
July 21st, 2016.
Mhm.
Okay. Give you his history. Prior to that, for 14 years, he was in passenger tires. So the tires on all of the vehicles that we drive in or get driven in today.
Okay.
That market became eroded with the Sam's Clubs and a lot of the
Yeah,
direct to
yeah.
consumer at the time. And so what he would buy a tire for, they're selling that same tire for. No way to win.
Mhm.
But my brother, being as intuitive and as an active listener as he is, a lot of his customers happen to be truckers.
Mm.
They were bringing their passenger vehicles for their wives, their pickup trucks, buying tires from him. One of the pain points, one of the constant plights that they would talk about and express was around selection of tires and cost of tires, right? And so, him being the enterprising hustler he is, he finds someone that he can get some used tires from. He sets up shop in his backyard, prove out the concept. And
Wow.
from that transition, by 2018, he's doing 6 figures.
Wow.
By himself, one-man operation. It was cash and carry. So individuals would pull up with their pickup truck with a trailer hitched to the back, take however many tires they needed, boom, gone. And so now this is the second part of the story. My mother, my mother, I tell her a lot. She could have made it on Capitol Hill. She could have been a famous lobbyist.
Yeah.
Cause she sure did a number on me.
Yeah.
And so I mess with her. I say, that's the PC term, but really you were a bully. My mother was very adamant about her 2 boys working together. My brother and my mother both have always had more conviction in me, candidly, than I've had in the confidence that I have for myself. And I like to think I am a confident person, but way beyond that, they've seen my abilities and capabilities in a light that I never did. And so she's like, hey, these talents that you have, these skill sets that you've developed at these different companies, it's great. Like, you need to bring that into the family. And I'm like, Mom,
Yeah.
my thing's working out for me.
Yeah.
This is cool. It's good. I'm the guy there,
Yeah.
Everywhere I've sold, I'm one, if not the guy, for sure. I'm like, what am I gonna do with tires? She like, sell them. You sold everything else, right? And so this probably began in late 2017. It took me all the way to January 1, 2019 to come to this decision though, Adam. Even though it was family, even though, my mother mainly was very persistent and adamant about her beliefs in my ability. My brother, not so much a talker, very quiet guy. And so he never mentioned anything to me about his interest of me joining the company. Again, mind you, I'm the little brother. And so one day, all my meetings end up either rescheduling or canceling on me. So here I am, dressed like you, right? Suited up, hard bottoms on, and I show up at his place, and I'm looking around. He's with a customer at the time, and I see all of these dirty and just dusty, grim tires. And I'm like, at this point, right? I'm in the finance world. Like, what am I gonna do with it?
Right.
And so he finishes up, and then we have a conversation at him, and it was one of the conversations for sure I look back on my life that has changed the entire trajectory of my life. So I asked him, all this sounds great from mom, but it's 2 questions. 1, are you really interested in me joining? He says, yes. I say, and 2, how is this gonna work, right? You know me. I'm the little brother, but I'm confident. Like I'm gonna speak my piece. I'm gonna express myself, and more than likely, you know, I'm gonna come in with some different opinions of
Yeah.
what we should do versus something that you've established. Like you're the guy, right? I know what being the guy looks like. You're the guy. You're the face. You're the name. You're who people are coming for. You've built this thing up to a very lucrative business for yourself. Me, again, in finance, I'm like, you extrapolate this over the next 10 years, bro. See, like you're a multimillionaire, right? What do you
Why
want me to
you?
do?
Yeah. What do you want from me? Right.
And he's like, yeah, man, I just, I feel like it's what's best for us. And so I'm like, how open are you really going to be to things? And so we had a real conversation. And again, going back to the part about how selfless he was and is, he has jumped in the passenger seat. And for these last several years, right? And I appreciate you for the accolades and how you see me. But it has for sure been a collective, collaborative effort to get to this point in this company. And so I'm the face now, though, right? I'm the voice. And so
Yeah.
people see me and it's like, they're cheering me on. And I'm like, dude, there's such an engine behind this
Yeah.
locomotive that is far stronger than just me by myself, right? The organization is running at this very moment in time. I'm sitting here
You're
with you.
sitting
We
beside
got
me.
3 stores operating right now. And so from my brother, of course, believing in me and then giving me the autonomy, the trust to not just do the things that people are patting us on the back and celebrating us for, but do the things that people don't see and don't hear about, which is making all of these errors that I've made to get to this point where I've learned the lesson and fortunately had enough capacity and runway to turn things around and be able to have this conversation with you, right? Because there's for sure some near-death occurrences that we've had, right?
As an entrepreneur, everybody's going to have them.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how I got into this tire business.
And that's an incredible story of entrepreneurship in terms of scale too, right? Because your brother had already found his lane. He had his group of folks that really kind of trusted him. Little bro comes in like, I'm gonna come in here and I might not agree with some of the things that I see.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you had a vision.
Yeah.
And that vision guided and directed that company to your company currently to 3 stores. How did the scale process work?
Yeah. And I don't advise this to anybody. Without any data and all intuition.
Really? Just gut feelings.
Yeah.
Gut
Which
feelings.
which is strong. I'm of the mindset that at some point over the course of life, maybe in the next 20 years or so,
Yeah.
I think there's gonna be some science that comes out that points to the gut being more of a driver of decision making that is sound, even over this.
I
don't know that.
I believe
but that's
that.
a suspicion of mine. But yeah, all intuition.
You're a data guy though. You give me data guy. You give me data vibes, man. You give me vibes like, hey, if I'm gonna give you a proposal, I'm gonna take it back to the team. It'll do about 3 days. We're gonna do a complete analysis on it. We're gonna do a risk aversion. We're gonna do all of this stuff, and then we'll make a final decision at that point. But you like now.
Yeah. Rewind 24 months ago. No.
Wow, that is a fast. But you know what? And it's no shade at all. This is not no business degree.
No.
This ain't no, hey, I went to go get a finance degree.
No.
I start with the gut and then I made mistakes along the way.
Yeah.
What would you do differently now and that you wouldn't have done before in terms of scale? Because listen, you said 2017.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, this 2025.
Yeah.
That's 8 years. That is not a lot of time. And you scaled your franchise, which, you could pretty much account that too. You scaled your franchise as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, by using gut feelings.
Yeah.
And just going hungry.
Yeah.
And you got to remember too, our audience is truckers, owner operators, small fleet owners.
Yeah.
but that applies.
Yeah, absolutely. The one resounding thing that I would say I would do different, and I know it's cliche, a lot of times people will say, oh, I wouldn't do anything different. And I do respect that answer, because I also take this into account. I'm of the mindset, when you change one thing, there's countless other things that you can't
Absolutely.
quantify that would have also changed.
Absolutely.
Right? And so potentially I wouldn't be sitting here with you. But if there was one thing that I would say that I would change, is in the early goings, again, that motor running hot, eager, hunger, hustle, just slowing down just a bit and qualifying the lack of skill set that I had in recruiting and hiring.
So team building.
Yeah.
Team building, that was one of the things that you said as an opportunity.
It was a pain point.
Really?
Oh, for sure. I didn't know what I was doing. I come from being a solo producer, Adam. So everywhere I went, there's infrastructure.
Sure.
Kamard, you come in, here's the playbook.
Sure.
Right? Run it. I can do that. Because I was only responsible for me.
That's right.
Managers, y'all got to coach these other guys and gals up. That's not my responsibility. I come in here, I deliver. Hey, I overachieve. Hey, see y'all tomorrow.
That's right.
So I bring all of that over here. All of the things that my mother and my brother saw in me that was like, hey, they're championing me for. There was also deficits in the recruiting and the hiring piece, for sure. In the earlier days, was a train wreck.
But you know, the crazy thing about that is that you still were able to figure it out. I'm sure you had horror stories, and you've had great stories too when it comes down to
absolutely.
it. But you identified a niche though. So we went from passenger truck tires. Your primary customers were truckers that were getting tires for their families.
Yep.
But then you was like, you know what? There's a community I want to serve. And that community I want to serve is the trucker.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
That was, again, all my brothers driving of us getting to that point. So when I come into the business at this point, it's only commercial tires, right?
And when you say commercial, it's
so
AG,
TBR,
you got ag
right?
too?
Yeah, we do ag, but not from the installation standpoint.
Okay.
It's just drop off or pick up for us at this moment in time, and it represents a minuscule
that's
percentage
surprising
of our
being
business.
in
Virginia,
Richmond.
right?
Virginia.
Yeah. An opportunity for us.
Okay.
An opportunity for us. Something we're looking at.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you went in, you said, you know what? We at that point we were at the commercial place.
Yes.
We were at that commercial place.
Yes.
But what took it to
the next level?
Yeah.
The service. For all of my salesmanship, my sales is driven by service. And so for me, I get an understanding of what's important to you. What's your pain points? What's your experiences like? And when I say experiences, not just in trucking itself, but literally like your operation. How do you see it? What's your vision for it? Right? I've met fleet owners, you got some that prioritize A, and you got some that prioritize B, and their fleets are totally different, even though their application is the same.
That's right.
Right? And so just getting a thorough understanding so that I could be in the best position to serve, and now getting it to the point where, going back to that original question of what would I change, knowing how to recruit, knowing how to hire, and most importantly, knowing how to train and develop. At this point, so long as an individual comes in with the appropriate behavior and attitude, I can put just about anybody in such an amazing position in 24 months.
Hey, you train skill, but you can't train attitude.
No, not after a certain age. And for us at this stage, right, anyone that we inherit is of adult age. And so, that has to be like the only pre-wiring that I need. Everything else we can equip you with. And so that is what turns the tide. I got to a point where I was able to figure out how to transfer what I do well from a sales perspective, from a service perspective, over to numerous individuals, and removed myself from being that solo producer minded business owner, CEO, which is important. You got to move the needle. But 7 folks that can give 60 to 75% of what I could give can move the needle way better,
further,
way quicker, way further than I can do at my 100%.
That's right.
And so that for sure is what has changed the needle. Like I said, sitting here with you, the stores are not just operating, but the stores are operating at a high level. I mean, we literally have a general manager who has received numerous cards and letters from customers, gift cards, all kind of gifts, because of the service that he, disseminates all the way down.
Yeah.
So It's the ability to duplicate the service and sales efforts that I was able to get us going and gain traction with.
I
100%.
love the fact that that's a focus on service because, obviously in the trucking industry, it's very competitive,
Yeah,
but I feel like it's underserved because your drivers out there are quite frankly treated unfairly in a lot of different environments.
absolutely.
You work with fleets of all sizes.
Yes.
What do small carriers and owner operators consistently misunderstand?
You know, for the audience, if y'all don't know, this is not rehearsed or scripted. That question is so beautiful, and I'll tell you why. Something as of late that has really been ruminating for me, and it has been a part of my conversations with the team to then take to these fleet owners and fleet managers and owner operators. The price that you pay for a tire
Mhm.
is not indicative of the cost of ownership.
Mm.
I'll give example for this. Okay, let's say you are a fleet or an owner operator. You're driving 500 miles a day. Okay, let's say you buy a set of steers to keep it simple. Let's say you get the steers for $250 a piece, so $500. Let's not do taxes and all of that.
Sure.
$500 is what you paid. Okay, so you're driving 500 miles a day. You paid $500. In a week's time, if you have tires that you've purchased at that $500 that is essentially costing you 12 cents per mile for your operation,
Correct.
you're now looking at $30 a day. That's $150. So let's say you do 52 weeks, 150. You're at $7,800 in a year that $500 purchase has cost you.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
not understanding amortization schedules.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're keyed on, is that amortization is one of those things that continuously to impact those costs. And when you see owner operators and small fleet, and that's a great example. And I love when we break down math, because math is my thing.
You can't refute it.
You can't refute it. You can't refute the data. It is a little bit away from the gut feeling, no, because your gut feeling tells you, oh man, I paid $500 for a set.
Right.
That's my gut.
Right.
But the funny thing about that is that everybody says you get what you pay for, but the thing is that always true with tires?
No.
Or there's scenarios where they're saying, buying cheaper actually makes more business sense.
So I'm going to double down on that example, and then I'm going to answer the question. Literally, it's a new fleet that we signed up.
How large was the fleet?
They are 50 trailers, so they are intermodal. So they own no units, owner operators pulling it, but they own all their trailers.
Oh man, they probably get beat up a lot.
Killed.
Yeah.
We took them from 12 cents per mile, which was approximately, and their example was a little bit more. They were at about 15,300 per year
in tires.
Yes, from a cost of ownership per unit.
Okay, per unit.
We We cut that in half to 6 cents per mile, just with not even necessarily taking them to a more expensive tire, but we put them in a tire that was best for the application.
For the application, yeah.
Which matters.
Yeah.
Even more than the brand.
Yeah.
And so it's huge to really understand tires when you are in trucking, whether you are a fleet owner or you're an owner operator, is not, yes, technically, if we're thinking about accounting, sure, it's an expense. But what I would challenge fleet owners, owner operators, fleet managers to look at, see it as an investment. Because then these numbers that I'm talking about with you have more relevance. Because again, just getting the tire at its cheapest price is not necessarily good or bad.
Sure.
But oftentimes, that is the sole metric that is being viewed for the decision.
And I get decide with their wallets.
I get it. Fuel is up.
Yeah.
Freight is down.
Yeah.
So where can we cut costs? When you look at it, fuel, generally speaking, for most fleets is number one expense. Tires is second. Understand. However, when we really look at how much that $500 purchase really cost you, you lost.
Yeah.
And so to answer the question, do you get what you pay for? What I will say is this. Research and development, as well as manufacturing, has come a long way. It's definitely not what it was 10 years ago.
I agree with that.
And so similar to automobiles, where you see now a what's that car? The Genesis that was spent off from Hyundai.
Yeah.
If you took the emblem off of it and you took the emblem off of a BMW, you can't tell them apart. Tire manufacturers that are import have caught up very much. And myth buster for the trucking industry. And the tire industry probably won't like this, but it's just the fact of the matter. Legitimately, there's not many TBR commercial tires being manufactured in the United States.
Come on now.
There are countless brands that are big brands. You know them, right? That
they don't manufacture them here.
And so they've driven their costs way down. And at the end of the day, you buy that brand at that premium price because you know it from 10 years ago, you know it from 20 years ago, and when your father was in trucking and how well it served him. And candidly, it is made in the same plant that this import tire that you never heard of is made in.
And your boots on, you boots on the ground, so
I know it. I visit factories yearly. It's a real thing. I've seen it with my own eyes. This isn't conjecture or hearsay. It's
because you
legit.
know what you hear across the community, right? Like, hey, you never buy, you make sure you buy virgin rubber over Chinese tires all day long.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Are there instances where that applies and is sound advice? Yes. I'm not saying that because these tires that you would know, love, and cherish from a brand perspective are made in these factories that you shouldn't still buy them. All I'm saying is that just goes to show you how much these overseas factories have caught up, not just because of the offshoring and the cost, but I mean, some of these factories have no people in them, Adam. And this is way before the AI boom and the humanoids. I've been in 2022. My brother and I, we were in a factory. Literally, I mean, it was like out of world. Yeah, the machines are stopping when they sense people. Yeah.
Wow.
And there's a new process, relatively newer process from a manufacturing standpoint of the tires. It used to be a 3-step process. A lot of these factories that really have the capital or have gotten the investment, they've shrunk it down to it's a 1-step phase. And so it has eliminated a lot of the tires that would normally come and be out around, or tires that would just have certain imperfections that would cause it to wear prematurely. But from a rubber compound standpoint, the silica, the carbon black, and a lot of these other things that are used to make the tires, it's come a long way.
You know, the crazy thing about that is, man, and that was aha for me. But the thing about it is, it's been for so long, the narrative, and I'm going to call about a narrative. The narrative has always been, junk. If it's not made here, it's junk.
Yeah.
Man, that is such a myth.
Yeah, it is.
Such a
myth.
It is such a myth. And I think it's unfortunate for us, as global purchasers, because we purchase global. You go in your house right now, there's no way that you can avoid it.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that when I've gotten pushback and when the team has gotten pushback, I have challenged them to just ask the question. Mr. Customer, Mrs. Customer, with all due transparency, the plates that you eat off of, the glassware, your sofa, where was it made? Very few have things that are made here in America. And I'm not against anything being made here in America. Let's be clear about it. I think there's some challenges for that to happen. It'd be great to see that over the course of several years, because I do think it will take that, right? Like, of course, with the administration that we have, they're pushing it, and that's beautiful because for sure there's been disruption, not just to the workforce, but also to the everyday consumer. I mean, we are getting hit in the wallet because so much is outsourced. So to a degree, bringing it back could increase that. I mean, there's different data on both sides that I've looked at that points to different arguments, but it's one of those things we'll just have to wait and see.
I agree with that. But that is so crazy. What would you say would be your number one, if you were to rank them all out, would be the number one silent killer of tire life that you see on the road that drivers just don't check?
This one is easy. Under inflation.
The crazy thing is that you take I was a former driver.
Yeah.
We get the tire thumper, boom, 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 boom.
You're kicking it. You're You're hitting it with the hammer. And I always ask my guys when they do that, when I was out there selling. Great, Adam. Cool. Now tell me what's the PSI. Because if your foot can do that, you need to be doing something different than driving this truck.
Tell me about it,
And
man.
so for context, right, to make it simple, again, let's say your cold PSI on a tire is 120.
Okay.
Or better yet, 100. 20%, you're at 80, right? Okay, so now technically you have a tire that is going to lose about 10% fuel efficiency.
Okay.
Just with that
because
reduction
of how much
in air.
more rubber is hitting the highway.
Yeah, because now the tire is flexing.
Mm-hmm.
The tire is getting overheated. And as a result, it is still made out of rubber. So now you're expediting the life of this tire.
Mm-hmm.
You go from getting 2 years out of this tire, now you get 18 months.
Mm.
The longer you do it, now you get a year.
Mm-hmm.
And so once again, $500 is what you spent for these two steers. Just by being underinflated, you've just deduced your chance of even getting a year out of it.
Sure.
Because for a lot of the regional and local guys with all of the twisting and turning, that tire scrub is going to cut away at the tire life anyhow on that front. Now you're running it underinflated. Okay, on the East Coast, we get heat waves here like we did earlier. And I think July, we had a mean one, right? So you got hot temperatures, you got rubber, the ground's hot, the tire is underinflated, so it's predisposed to getting hotter just by default. You've just killed your tire life, all because you didn't get out and truly, with an air chuck, hit that thing and see where you were before you started your day.
See where you at.
Because as you run, the tire is already going to increase in heat anyway.
Yeah.
And so literally that one responsibility adhered to completely changes the game from a cost profile for any trucking operation.
The crazy thing is you walked us through how bad tire choices from a maintenance perspective affects fuel economy.
Yes.
Can you walk us through how bad tire choices outside of maintenance affect fuel economy? So let's
easy.
Shift it a little bit.
I got you. Okay. So one thing that I don't hear a lot of customers that have formerly shopped at other alternatives to us in the marketplace. Mm-hmm. I ask them about it. I never really hear them speak about it. Rolling resistance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rolling down.
And just simply put, it is certain tires are manufactured, believe it or not, tires have technology in them, and they're developed to have lower rolling resistance, which simply means the truck has to work less hard or more hard. Higher rolling resistance, truck has to work harder, particularly on your drives. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's where your torque is coming from. Then you got tires that are manufactured to have lower rolling resistance. And so if the truck has to work harder because the tire selection that you decided upon, it's going to have your fuel efficient go down. Your fuel cost goes up. Vice versa. You get a tire that has the, again, technology in it where it is manufactured for lower rolling resistance. Truck has to work not as hard. So fuel efficiency goes up, fuel costs go down. And that's a big deal.
Wow.
When again, you take into account more times than not, fuel is the number one expense for a trucking operation.
But you're purchasing that tire because of what the tag says. Like, oh, it's on sale at TA. I can get these, for, a discount. But you're not going into the true buying decision, like going all the way back to your scaling decision.
Yeah.
Your scaling decision came from a gut. So as a trucker, I'm coming up, man, I've got insurance coming up. My gut feeling tells me to take tire A over tire B.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to save a little money, not considering the cost of operations, not even considering rolling resistance, not even thinking about rolling resistance, which is such a profound thing. How important it is to understand that rolling resistance is creating more drag, causing you to burn more fuel. So it's really important to consider that.
Yeah.
So what would be your advice to a carrier who's not in a tire program right now that just shops the local dealer when something goes wrong?
Yep. I would say, first thing I'll say is there's many tire vendors.
Yeah,
whether you talk wholesale or you talk about, and I say retail, in the tire industry, retail is more passenger tires, but speaking for fleets, so on the commercial side, your retail dealer or wholesale, more times than not, product is just being pushed, okay? And so if I speak to you and you indicate that price is really the only thing that you care about. What you have just told that person is, I don't care about putting what's best, not just what's best for the
I
operation
agree
from
with
a
that.
cost perspective, but what is also best for my drivers. And
I agree
I
with that.
talk to fleet managers about it. Driver retention has a lot to do with how you go about your maintenance program for
100%.
tires.
100%.
Because ultimately, that's the person that really is taking the risk.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, accidents happen and the blowback comes back on the fleet owner, fleet manager, sure. But from a injury standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
right? Physical harm, it's the driver that's taking the risk.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they see that you are skimping there, I mean, what do you think that, the morale is going to be? And so when you talk about retention, when I talk to these guys, I'm like, I mean, talk to me about how you're going about the expense, right, of the tires. That's a big part because, again, I don't care what vehicle your fleet runs. Kenworth, Peterbilt, doesn't matter. You can have the stacks, right? You got that Cummins engine. It doesn't matter. If those tires aren't right, that truck not moving.
And it's like a Ferrari with no gas in it.
And so what I would say is, don't look for a tire vendor. Look for a tire partner. Because what you'll find is somebody that's really going to, at least with us, take the time to get a thorough understanding of what your operation requires, what the geography is for your fleet, right? What pain points have you had? And then with the tire knowledge that we have, we can put a series of options in front of you, right? And even if you go with the most cheap price, more times than not, you're going to get a tire that is still going to perform better at a higher price point than the cheapest tire that you can get.
Of course.
Because that's the difference, right? Getting the least priced option out of your series of good, better, best is better than I just got the cheapest tire. I went on Walmart.com and I got this tire. Okay, cool. You got to get it shipped to you, right? More times than not, and this is what I've been finding at least. You get a 295, 75, 22.5, and then you get 11 out 22.5 when you both had all 11 out 22.5s or vice versa. Then what's the process? You got to log it to a Walmart. You got to try to ship it back. It's just the operational drag on it in any and every business, but especially trucking. The most expensive thing is downtime.
It's time, brother. It's time. It's time.
So you're telling me you just had your fleet manager or your lead mechanic leave the shop to go and take care of something that you could have had consolidated with a tire partner.
That's right.
And over the continuum, right? If we look at it, it's just more cost effective. Even in the beginning, if you might receive a higher price point than what you could get. Sure, if you go online, that's just about anything that you want to buy. It's going to be cheaper than if you go and get it from somewhere local. However, is it what's best for you?
That's right. That's right.
And so, yeah, I get it. Trucking has definitely been tough the last few years, right? I get it. But some sacrifices are not ROI positive.
You would say a lot of people, a lot of guys go straight to the cheapest used recap that they can find.
Yeah.
When is that smart?
To me,
when is that a disaster waiting to happen?
This is interesting. I won't mention that. But so, interestingly enough, a scenario took place a couple months back. And I created some content around this topic. I am not against recaps. Recaps have been around really since the World War. And so I'm into like the history, right? So I understand where they came from. It came from because there wasn't rubber to really get their hands on because the Army needed it all, right? And so that's where recaps came from, right? Simply put, I don't want to take us down a history trip, but they have gotten better over the course of years. Yes, 100%. However, it still ultimately is the casing, which is the body, the carcass of the tires, right? Think of it maybe like the skeleton of our body. It is a piece of rubber that has existed for longer than the new tread that is on it. Okay?
Right.
And so when you think about weather conditions, and let's just use where we are. Let's take the East Coast, right? We get rain, we get snow, we get heat. So you take a tire and the DOT date for that carcass, that body, that skeleton is 5 years old. All right. And so now you have the rubber adhesive that has sealed this new tread onto it. So yes, the tread is new, but
The casing's
tires
old.
do not blow from the tread unless you roll over something.
Say that again. Say that again.
Again.
Say it again.
Tires do not blow from the tread unless you roll over something that punctures it. Boom. Tires blow from the sidewall. The life and death of a tire resides in the sidewall. That is where all of the integrity either is there or isn't. Because think about tires like an accordion. You get loaded, they constrict. You get unloaded, they expand. And you just doing this. And so as you're doing that with a tire that has been cold, that has gotten snowed on, because when you park that truck and you get into your vehicle and you drive home and you go inside the house, the truck is still sitting outside.
Yeah, yeah.
And so now it's hot. And so it's baking that casing, right? And so what happens is the weather conditions cause dry rotting. And therein lies where the sidewall then starts to become compromised. And so, in my opinion, when the temperatures are cooler, so fall, winter, it's a decent option. It can be. In the summer, spring, I'm just not an advocate of it.
Yeah.
And I will tell you,
Rightfully
for
so.
what it's worth, there's many people in the tire industry, and again, I will leave that nameless,
Yeah.
that, they're not happy with me for this rhetoric. I'll tell you that, 100%. Like, there's
But you're not.
things that,
It's not refutable, though. I mean, it's
No,
not one of those things where
it's
you
a
can,
fact.
let's have a conversation.
So
over
much
it.
so, and this has always been my challenge to people when they, because I got some fleets, they swear by them. Fine. And we never go into any fleet or any owner operator looking to undo what they are comfortable with.
Yeah.
We provide data
Yeah.
that is irrefutable, and we allow them to make their decision.
And experience.
It's our process, but it's their decision.
Tires is your thing, though.
Right. It's like a physician. I am going to tell you what needs to happen, Adam, for you to get the optimum health.
You make the decision.
Whether you do it or not, though, that's your
on you.
decision as a grown individual. And I'm going to respect it. I don't have no ill will towards you if you decide otherwise. I'm not thinking that I'm going to be 100% on our conversions
That's right.
of taking people from doing things a traditional way that, they've seen some semblance of it works for me.
Sure.
And then when we get into the data and the numbers, I refute that it worked for them. But nonetheless, I get it. So, yeah, to me, the recap is a good option. It can be a good option in the fall and in the winter.
Well, so when you think about, buying tires from a dealer as an owner operator, new owner operator, new small carrier, what should a small carrier owner operator always ask before handing over money for a set of tires, whether it be a set of steers, a set of drives? What question needs to be asked?
That's a great question, specifically for our owner operators, because, more times than not, Adam, they don't have the volume count to get contracts, right?
Yeah.
For, something that you speak about a lot. And then also they don't necessarily get the best pricing when it comes to tire procurement. Just again, they don't have the volume that a fleet may have.
That's right.
Okay. And so the best question to me for an owner operator to arm themselves with, I don't care where you are in the country, it would be ask that salesperson, that dealer, that wholesaler, wherever you're buying your tires, is this tire best for my application? Because again, more so than brand and more so than price, that is going to be an indicator outside of the control of checking your air pressure, which is your responsibility to ensure that you get good life, that an owner operator would fall victim to. Because again, if I sell you, again, the best priced option and it is not suited for your application,
That's right.
it's just not going to be, again, an ROI positive purchase.
When I think about application too, you got to be careful as an owner operator. You got to make sure that you're more specific with your application.
Yes.
You can't just be say, hey, well, I haul reefers or flatbeds. No, are you regional? Are you in the south? Are you regional? Do you run in a certain lane? Because listen, if I'm running across Texas with a reefer, most of the year, my application is different.
Yeah.
Because of the heat down there during the summertime is a different animal than if I'm operating in the mid-Atlantic, if I'm running Ohio to Charlotte.
Yeah.
So to your point, it's really important for an owner operator to be very specific, to know your business, more importantly, and identify those things that be best for you as a business owner. But then also, you don't want to have these conversations when you're in blowout time.
No.
You want to have those before then, right?
Yeah, because again, we can take the example. You paid $500 for a set of steers, 2 tires. Cool. Let's say day 187, you have a blowout. And let's say you're not local at that point when it happens.
You're at the mercy.
So you're in Virginia, right? That's where you live. But this blowout happens in North Carolina. First and foremost, let me tell all of you guys what happens. The moment that dealer knows that you are from out of town, your price just went up.
I already know.
I promise you that. That's just, again, a real fact.
So that's part of it.
Yeah. Oh, wait, where you from, buddy? Oh, yeah, man, I'm just trying to get back home to Virginia. Are you now? Right? And so instantly, that $500 that you spent on those tires, let's just say you paid $1,000 between tire replacement and then the service for them to come out there.
That's crazy.
In 180 some odd days.
That's crazy.
It's not a good turn on your money. And it's these kind of leaky faucets that lead to, with other things, but for sure, people going out of business.
Absolutely.
Because just because you're not tracking what your true cost of ownership is, does not negate the fact that it either is going to have a positive or a negative effect on what you're able to do or not do in your business.
That's right.
Because we're talking tires, but as you all know this in trucking, there's countless other expenses. Turbo this, that, insurance over here, right? Yeah. Oh man, I had to get brakes, I had to get my wheel seals, and I had to get an alignment. Like there's other things to pay for.
100%.
And so the tires to me by far is the most controllable thing that you can get a handle on, that can give away dividends for all of these other expenses and have trucking be not as much of a headache. Because the other piece that really, again, isn't talked about, right? We look at the downtime from the operational side, right? The money that it can cost you. Let's say you just got on with Adam and, you were late. Maybe Adam is one of those strict guys. Maybe he has a military background. You were late one time, I'm done with you.
Yeah.
So now it has cost you future business. So it's even more than just the blowout and the $1,000 and then the $5. Like it can compound so quickly. But the other piece is just a peace of mind. You were gonna be able to get home to see your daughter's recital. Now you're not.
Now it's questionable. No, you're right. You're right. And the thing is too, man, is that I see we're talking about shortcuts.
Yeah.
Right? We're talking about taking financial shortcuts. And these financial shortcuts are sometimes predicated based on the environment.
Sure.
Sometimes it's a knee-jerk reaction as an entrepreneur to take the cheapest way out.
Sure.
That's just survival
Absolutely.
At some point. But, when you think about taking shortcuts, there's also taking shortcuts in preventative. So when I think about the pre-trip inspection process, you talked about stabbing and making sure that you've got that valve, that measurement, you get that reading every single morning on what those tires are inflated at properly. How often do you see tires that may have passed a walk-around inspection, right? But they fail a roadside or, and the real exposure there for a carrier that happens on the wrong day because, hey, you know what? I did a walk around today and I didn't realize this trailer tire was flat.
Yep. Often.
Really?
Yes. And
that says a lot.
Interestingly enough, more times with companies that have 11 plus units.
So you think that the more units, the more lax?
I think with the more units, the more cumbersome of a process it is to truly have a consistent approach of preventative maintenance.
That comes from processes and systems. Now
Absolutely.
You're talking my language now.
And so that's where innovative logistics can come in, right? And help a lot of folks out because there's so many facets to running a business.
Yeah.
And oftentimes what I've found, Adam, and I say this to some guys, right, as a challenge for betterment, not as a sidestep.
Sure.
Listen, brother. Listen, sir. You operate a business that just happens to warrant you having a CDL.
Right, having a truck.
That drives a vehicle.
That's right. That's right.
But I need you not to see this as when you were the driver for Walmart. You have to see this as the business owner that in this particular phase happens to be working in the business and on the business because you happen to be driving it. But I need you to make sound decisions from the business owner side as it pertains to the investments that you make. One of them being preventative maintenance, because it's just going to cost you so much more on the back end. And it's those hits. It's almost like a boxing match, right? I'm jabbing, I'm setting you up. And those blows might not hurt right now, but it's opening up your defense to the shot that I really want to take.
Right.
And so my analogy to that is you get a little leakage here, you lose a little bit there, and then before you know it, boom, that one pop, And now I'm driving for Adam now. Like, I mean, Adam a good dude, so that's cool. But like, what happened with you? It's like, man, trucking ain't it. It's like, well, sure, that's easy to say. And it's easy to say that about anything, right? Oh, my buddy doing lawn care. Outside looking in, uninformed optimism. Now I want to get into that, right? Because he doing well with it. So then I jump into it. I know nothing about the lawn care business though. And every industry has its nuance that has to be learned. Business acumen to a degree is transferable, but there's nuance in every industry. And so if you don't have the propensity to take those blows to figure that out, and you have enough capital to have that runway where you can absorb those things, you go in and out of business. And it's the industry. Oh man, lawn care doesn't work.
That's exactly what happens.
And you got people like Evergreen and like they're national companies. Like there's plenty of people who win with that. It's plenty of people who win with trucking. There's plenty of people who win with tires. Like everything can work if you work it.
There, man. You talking my language.
You know? So yeah, like that's the piece for me. As much as we are a tire partner, man, we attempt to help advocate by bringing people into a better state of business ownership from a perspective shift. And then, of course, resources like you. Hey, listen, I'm not in trucking. I'm adjacent to it, right? I've had countless conversations with guys and gals in all different type of positions. 300 truck fleet is our biggest customer, down to a guy who got 3 trucks. Like, so I've heard different various conversations about the different struggles and how it hits different over here versus down there. I get it. So I don't ever look to be the trucking guru guy because I know people like you, right? And so I'm like, hey, check this guy's page out. He is a friend of mine. So yes, for sure, I am advocating for what he does, but not because he's a friend of mine, because he does good business who happens to be a friend of mine. It's a difference, right? And so like even with the, I want to support you, brother. It's like, don't support me because I'm a brother. Support me because I do business. That's as adequate and as integrity filled and as value filled as you needed to be for your company.
That's right.
Let that be the merit.
That's right. That's
for me.
That's right. That's right. You know, you're big on education. You know, if anybody has followed your journey, followed your social media activities, you know, you're huge on education. And one of the things that's so admirable about your content is that your content is always value added, that from the soul food side of entrepreneurship, right? When I say soul food side, I'm a soul food coach. Soul food, sometimes it may not be what you need to have in your body at that point.
Yeah.
You know, you may not need that soul food, that Crisco that's frying that chicken with. You may not need it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you got to have it.
Yeah.
And education is one of the things that you got to have. And you're big on education. You're big on that journey. You're big on, you know, self-development, continuous development. You know, I've watched your journey. You're constantly challenging yourself. You're getting the marathon. You know, I saw that as well.
Yeah.
Why is tire knowledge, in your opinion, why is it such a blind spot?
I think for starters, as a business industry as a whole, I think it has a boring mantra attached to it, or moniker.
Of course.
Sorry. And so when something doesn't jump off the screen at you, especially in today's time, it gets no attention.
Sure.
So I think, generally speaking, that. 2, I think in the trucking industry itself, like taking the fleets, for example, who may be insulated, right? So they have a diesel mechanic on staff, right? They have their fleet manager who, you know, is doing what they need to do to ensure that the vehicles are ready to go out on the road and make things happen. But more times than not, once again, even within that world of it, it's kind of looked down on. Like, I can't tell you how many diesel mechanics have no interest in changing a tire. It's beneath them. And I respect it, because what they have learned and what they do bring to the operation and what they do, what they specialize at, again, not anybody can do it. But to a degree, anybody can change a tire if they take the time to learn it. Which, of course, could be said about diesel mechanic, but I'm confident that owner operators and our fleet audience will agree with this. There's countless times that you've gone to a diesel mechanic and Adam said what was done, and then that truck leaves and goes down the road, and what was supposed to be done wasn't done either.
That's right.
Accurately,
that's right,
or wasn't done well
at all. Right.
So
no, I agree.
That's all I'm saying. Is
I agree.
The diesel mechanic is special. That really does a great job. Whereas the tires, it's just like, yeah, man, get somebody else to do that. And so again, I think it's just one of them things that's kind of pushed aside, so much so until it's a issue, which is usually an issue more times than anything else. And so I just don't think it's not exciting.
Yeah.
Right. Oh man, yeah, I got the Cummins. I got a Pete 379. Right. Exciting.
Yeah.
Oh man, I just put the stacks on there. Oh, exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tires, not exciting.
No it's not a living benefit.
No, it's just not exciting. And so I just think it
But the value behind understanding so much stuff that you have taught today. Like I think you literally just put some money in some people's pockets today.
I hope so.
I don't hope. I'm telling you, you put some money or you provided knowledge today that caused somebody to think a little bit differently.
Yes.
And I think that's the key to conversations like this, where you may not agree with everything that comes out of either one of our mouths.
Sure.
But there's something that you can take away from it to where it provides value add to where, and ultimately it could become revenue generating. So if a one truck operator came to you today and asked you how to set up a basic tire maintenance and replacement plan, where would you tell them to start?
Awesome. I would tell him to get a tire gauge. I would tell him to get a tread depth gauge. I would tell him to, again, people in the tire industry wouldn't like what I'm about to say, but if he can, get his own impact gun. Yeah. And a bottle jack. Yeah. And make sure that the trailer that he pulls or the truck that he drives has a spot for at least a spare tire, at least one. Because here's what's going to happen. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when.
Yeah, it's when.
You're going to have some kind of tire breakdown.
Yeah.
And when you call, and again, using that example, you live in Virginia, but you're passing through North Carolina, you had a tire blowout. Guess what? Your situation is totally different when you call and say, yeah, I just need you to come out here and put on a tire of mine.
That's right.
You have just saved yourself a minimum of $500. Minimum. And when we think about what the pressures are at that integral stage of just getting going and you only have one truck, yeah, for sure. And then, of course, I would say, please make sure to check your air pressure, not just before, because I do know some guys and they're good about it. They'll check it before.
And that's it.
But there's things that take place on your journey from dock to dock, right? And I can't tell you how many drivers have been flagged down on the road to be notified of a tire that's flat and throwing off rubber that the driver never knew was happening. Right? They on the CBE, they talking to you, right? They talking to this person, they having a grand time, they're safe, but they aren't, because they got a whole tire issue going on that they didn't start the day with.
Yeah.
And what I would say is when you do check the tire pressure after you've driven, so let's say you just got to where you're getting loaded at. Normally, I don't know, about 2 hours, right? If you know, good rough time. So you're getting out, you getting loaded, right? Walk around, get some exercise for sure. I definitely advocate for that. Put the steps in, right? Let's not look for excuses. Let's look for solutions. So keep yourself healthy, because you guys are behind the road a lot.
That's right.
A lot of hours.
That's right.
And so that for sure can kill you wanting to have the energy, time, or even opportunity to go to a gym or anything for exercise. So do that. Give it maybe 45 minutes to an hour for the tire to cool down, because what you don't want is a false read. If you check that tire immediately after driving, you'll run yourself mad. Oh man, this tire at 150. Of course, that is not good.
Yeah, heat expands it.
Right. That's going to cool down. So give it 45 minutes to an hour, and then, check all the tires again. And then when you park, I know this one is a bit more difficult because, again, you've been driving all day. I'm ready to get home. I got stuff to do. I need to rest, all of that. But if you could, maybe another 20 to 30, check it again. Because you can never be too sure. Because the worst thing in the world is to start your day, you thinking you're ready to get to the money, and you can't do that on time because of a tire issue, right? So I would say those things to that one owner, one vehicle owner operator, and I would also end it by saying, don't think that asking questions to tire people is a bad thing. I say this with a lot of respect, but so many times, Adam, we have talked to a new guy who just started, and all of his information, rightfully so, or expectedly so, not rightfully so, expectedly so, has been derived from another driver. And this may sound weird and wild, but I promise you it's a true thing because I've tested it out. I can sell you a set of Michelin steers, the XLEZ, right? And let's say you're an over-the-road guy. That's the appropriate steer for you, right? It has the decoupling groove. It's optimized for fuel efficiency, low rolling resistance, all of that. Okay. And you got a Peterbilt. And then let's say we sell your buddy, John, same tires, same application as you, over the road, almost running the same route. But let's say he has a Freightliner.
Mm-hmm.
I can assure you with absolute certainty that y'all experience with that tire would be different.
Really?
Yes. And so what I'm saying is, yes, take information from people who have been there, done that, right? But trust but verify.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because not every single piece of suggestion and or advice is applicable for your specific situation.
Absolutely.
It's no different than you work out and I work out. We both are into taking care of our bodies from that side of it. Cool. You can tell me to do the exact same workout as you and I can do the exact same reps, same weight. That doesn't mean my body's going to develop yours because we are two different individuals. The trucks are no different. And so some tires do perform better on
different applications.
Yeah. It's just, a lot of times, you got them peak with that long nose. It does change how that tire performs. Believe it or not. It's just a fact.
That's true. That's incredible to be able to obviously identify that and to really make sure that comes out. As we close down, you got a couple of things going on.
Yep.
Your journey as an entrepreneur, four-time Inc. 5,000 entrepreneur, well documented, well verified, great accomplishments for what you've done. You've also created a platform to teach others to go down the same path in terms of being able to, if they decide to do something differently, by helping them build out tire programs and a tire business. You want to hit a little bit on that?
I appreciate you bringing that up. It's not something that I've spoke about publicly. It's more so I've been working in the shadows. But simply put, it's this. There are countless tire dealers in the country. And a lot of them are going to age out sooner rather than later. Next 5 years, 10 years, right? And a lot of them don't have succession plans in the sense of either having family that is interested in the business. Once again, they have children, but tire business isn't seen as exciting, right? I want to be an influencer, right? Or I want a digital agency, right? Or something that, again, a lot of people are talking about, right? And so with that, there's going to be a lot of businesses that are just going to dissolve, right? Like the body, it's just going to pass away. Nobody will acquire them because on the flip side to that, a lot of them have not put in the structure and or processes to create enterprise value. And so there's no outside interest. It's almost like an heirloom in the family. It's personally valued, but no one outside of your family who knows the story about this handkerchief cares about it. Like it's just not valuable. And so as a result, there's going to be a lot of businesses that are just not going to be sold, not going to be acquired, and they'll just cease to exist. And so because I understand that we now have more trucks on the road than ever before because of our consumerism. And as far as I see it, every vehicle manufactured is still going to roll on rubber for quite some time until something is an alternative to that. And even when that happens, they're still going to need dealerships to do some type of installation, in my opinion. Could be wrong. But I think that this is a business that has a lot of staying power that is not recession proof, because I'm not so certain that anything is, but I do like to think that it is recession resistant. And along with that, I would say that it's AI resistant. I would say that it is pandemic resistant. And I'm speaking from experience on all three of these things because I've been in it 6.5 years now with my brother. We went through the pandemic together. Business was fine for us. We actually continued to grow, and not just through additional stores, but also through the acquisition of talent, hiring. Just like right now, we're hiring. A lot of people are not. And so I just know that there is going to be quite the need, similar to nurses, similar to HVAC and plumbing people. Tire business owners, there's a need for it, and it's going to grow. 2027, the tire industry is, I think, expected to be around 350 billion. I could be wrong on that number, but it's a large one. And it's only going to continue to expand. And so for me, with the successes, the experiences, the accolades, the processes, the systems that we have been able to reap benefits of having and the exposure to, I'm just of the mindset that none of this information can I take with me, right?
That's right.
And my brother and I, from my mother, we got two things that she really instilled in us. One, we take care of the people who take care of us, and that's in all facets of our lives, personally, professionally, etc. And then the other one is that it's such a shame, it's such a waste to take what you know and not be able to have other people benefit from having it. And the only way that they can is if you share it with them. But you share it with them in a way that's digestible to the level that they are on, so that they can then process it, internalize it, and then actually benefit from it. And so for us, the program is going to literally give you our exact game plan and playbook that we execute on a day-to-day scenario to get to where we've gotten and to ultimately where we're going. And I mean, at the end of the day, we can't open up all of the dealerships in the world. And even if we did, nobody will get 100% of the business. You got huge outfits like Southern Tire Mart, and you got people like us with just 3 stores. And there's business for everybody. And so for me and my brother to be able to offer essentially our world to anybody who wants to take a stab at business ownership, which God bless you, because it's quite
rough.
the choice.
It's rough.
But we like to think that this is a pathway that, I'm not going to say anybody, but many people can come into it without any pre-business experience, without any certain skill sets, and be able to do well. And we say that because that was the case for us, right? My brother, no college degree. Same for myself. We had not done anything to give us any kind of confidence that we would be able to do well with this, because it's like, oh, well, yeah, you used to like everyday average individuals could come into this industry and make quite a life for themselves and for their families. And so we just want to extend that opportunity to anyone who wants to take a stab at business and wants to do it with the business that, you don't have the fears of, if I started today, is it going to be viable tomorrow? Right? Like, everybody needs tires, whether you want to do the commercial side or you want to do the passenger side, right? Or agriculture, or just mobile. Like, there's just so many nuances of avenues to travel within the tire business. And so, yeah, we think it's cool. And just because of you, what I'm willing to do, coming here today to see you, which has been a blast. I like Chattanooga, man. It's a nice little town, as I've walked around just a little bit before I came here. Anybody who is interested that is a part of the audience for the playbook can go to tbacourse.com and schedule a call and specifically get to speak with me. And I can vet out any questions, any concerns, and truly be able to, pull the curtain back so that you'll be in a situation to qualify if this is something that you, or rather quantify if this is something that you really would want to do. So that's just because this is my good brother, my good friend, and obviously he is one that leads with value first. And I thought that would only be right to attempt to match how you move, brother. So
we appreciate
that's just because of you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah,
we appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
One thing before we close out.
Yeah.
You have 3 locations.
Yes, all in Virginia.
If anybody wanted to find you, let's help us find GTT.
So GTT Commercial Tires, we are in Richmond on Commerce Road, right next door to Philip Morris. So if you know anything about Virginia, one of the biggest products of trade is tobacco.
That's right.
And so we're right next door to where it has been made for a long time. Then we're in Petersburg, right between the I-95 and I-85 split. So we do see a lot of folks from North Carolina generally. And then our most recent location that we built from the ground up is in Portsmouth. And that is literally right across the street from the port.
Oh, wow.
So as you can imagine, we had quite the fight to get this approved. But it's a bright star amongst the 3 for sure. And we'd be honored to serve anybody who gives us the opportunity to do so. And I'm confident that if you experience the GTT way of buying tires, whether you continue with us or not, you will find yourself in a better position, because you'll definitely reap the benefits of the education that we also bring on to our customers, to put you guys in a position to know how to take care of the tire and not go and see anybody, us included, for tires until it's absolutely necessary versus having to do it prematurely.
And this is why I love small business. You're going to get this from small business, the passion, the desire to see success. So I'm so thankful for businesses such as yours, for what you bring to the community, the value you bring to the community, not just on the, hey, you know what, there's a transactional side,
Sure.
which is a component of it, but ultimately it's more of a, hey, I want you to be successful too, and we can be successful together. So,
Yeah.
that's really a big thing.
Because candidly, for us, the way that we see it, everybody on the team knows this, right? Two things, and this is definitely like insider information. We believe we make sales to gain customers.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that again.
Long
We
term.
make sales
Absolutely.
to gain customers.
Yeah.
We don't look at it the vice versa way.
Mhm.
And then second to that, we really believe that in order for our business to be sustainable, we need to put the businesses that support us in positions for their business to be sustainable. And so that's why it goes so much further than just the tire purchase for us.
That's right.
We've helped a lot of drivers get their DBE, right? So that they can be in a better situation. And I'm not saying that that's like a cure-all silver bullet,
Sure.
but it's different things that we do, i.e. that example, that goes far beyond just like, hey, here's the tire, we installed it, give us the money.
Sure.
See you later. Like,
Yeah.
it's so much more than that. And that's why we have such the consistent business of repeat. Again, like I said, I'm confident if you experience the GTT way of buying tires, it's a pretty good chance you're gonna stick. And unless again you're just passing through, you saw us on this, and you wanted to give us an opportunity, which happened before. Shout out to Ramel with Truck and Hustle, because similar thing happened. Went with him. And then a lot of people came like, man, I just wanted to, test you out, try you out. And you the real deal. And so it was cool. And so if that does happen, I'd be grateful. Most so for the opportunity to meet you. And then again, just put you in a better situation than what you're currently in, from just my assumptions around just, again, tires being seen as boring and it being such a redhead stepchild per se. But one of the biggest costly purchases that you have in the business of trucking.
Absolutely. So hopefully you'll see a lot more folks pulling up to GTT. Make
Yes,
sure
sir.
that you guys go out, and make sure if you're down on that I-95 corridor, down in the Virginia area, make sure you give Kamard a shout out. Make sure that you take him up on an offer if you're interested in the desire to look at entrepreneurship in a different channel, by going into commercial tires or residential tires, or passenger tires, not residential tires. But big thanks to Kamard Johnson for really getting on here and just breaking down for what most folks overlook until it costs them literally. Today, we spent a lot of time just breaking down the nuances of entrepreneurship and the nuances themselves of really the basic components of maintenance within your vehicles, which is maintaining your tires. Ultimately, we want you to maintain success. We want you to grow. We want you to be successful. If you found any value in this episode, please do me a favor. Make sure you like, share, send it to somebody that would get value from that. And make sure that you go to FreightWaves.com/playbook. Make sure you sign up for the newsletter where we drop in value every single week. We're bringing articles that really, really matter and providing tools, tips, and nuances that can help you be successful as an owner-operator as you proceed. Again, Kamard, thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking the trip down here. Quick 10-second, 15-second backstory. This was an interview that was in the making for quite some time. It went from virtual to physical to virtual to physical, and then you said, you know what, I'll see you in September, and you made
Yes,
the
sir.
trip. And that says a lot about you and your character as an entrepreneur, as a businessman, and as a man. I commend you for that. The word matters. So thank you for doing that. And to my audience, thank you for tuning in. Until next time, I want to see you on the long haul.